Hare Krishna. From a supermodel to a super devotee. She had money, glamour, exciting work, admiring friends, but she gave it all up for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada would say to the people coming, "She gave up everything for Krishna. Now you should do the same thing." Prabhupada preached everyone like that. Anne Schauffers has lived what most women can hardly dream. Born of an illustrious Dutch stage family, she entered the Danish Royal Ballet at age 6 and performed during the next 10 years until she grew too tall, that is, 5 feet 11 inches by age 16. She went on to become Miss Denmark in 1965 and set out soon after to earn a living. Within 6 months, her picture appeared on the cover of Vogue magazine, and that launched her career as one of Europe's most sought-after fashion models. $1 million and 3 dozen magazine covers later, Anne had wealth, fame, and apartments in most European capital cities. Anne Schauffers had everything, except maybe happiness. But that posed no problem. In her world, if you didn't have something, you sent out for it. The young woman left all makeup or jewelry. Her dress is a single piece of embroidered cotton 9 yards long, wrapped around the waist and brought over the head. Since becoming a devotee of Lord Krishna, Anne prefers the reserved appearance that a sari offers. Women who live for the next new dress, she says. In 1973, while flying from one modeling assignment to another, Anne met a young woman in Orly Airport, Paris. She told Anne that she came from the Krishna temple, where everyone practiced Bhakti Yoga, devotional service to God. Anne explained, "I was familiar with yoga exercises and sensed that yoga led to a superior kind of life. But I told the devotee it wasn't really for me, since I didn't have the time and it didn't seem to go along with my work." She explained that Bhakti Yoga was very simple and that I could do it anywhere, anytime. She gave me a book and the address of the Paris temple, and I promised to visit. There was a class on Bhagavad Gita going on, so I sat down with 30 or so other guests and listened to Bhagwan Goswami speak about how conflict arises from people falsely identifying themselves with their bodies. White, black, man, woman, rich, poor. The temple was located in a very elegant section of Paris, but the devotees appeared humble and unpretentious. Their clothes were simple and everyone sat on the floor. After the class, I went to Bhagwan Goswami and told him I wanted to do yoga. "All you have to do is chant Hare Krishna," he said. He explained that the name of God is not different from God, and that chanting puts one in direct contact with God through His holy name. I said, "Is that all I have to do?" Actually, I wasn't sure how that was yoga, but I saw no reason not to try. Chanting helped me give up bad habits. It was amazing, especially since I wasn't trying very hard. I had been smoking since age 13. When I started chanting Hare Krishna, I would pick up a cigarette and tell myself, "I'm going to smoke, but first I'm going to chant 1 round on my beads." After 1 round, I would think, "No, I'm going to chant 2 rounds, then smoke." By the time I finished 2 rounds of chanting beads, I felt so good I didn't need the cigarette anymore. In the beginning, I chanted with a playful attitude, but after a while, I discovered that chanting had changed my vision of things. I was no longer impressed by a ride in a Rolls-Royce or by seeing my picture on a magazine cover. Socializing with non-devotees became distasteful. Instead of going to parties, I would visit the Krishna temple in different countries and bring flowers for the altar. I liked the devotees' company and always felt at ease around them. I used to bring girlfriends to the temple, but all it came to was rumors that my involvement with Krishna consciousness was just a publicity stunt. Finally, one day I picked up the phone, called my agent and told him to cancel all my bookings because I had decided to move into the temple. I did menial jobs. I washed the temple floor and made flower garlands for the altar. Then one day I cooked and everyone liked it. So for a whole year, I cooked for 110 devotees. Like the other devotees in the temple, Anne followed the strict routine of daily devotional activity. Each day she rose at 4 a.m. to bathe and take part in morning ceremonies and classes. Then she chanted for an hour and a half on her beads. The entire community took breakfast together at 8:30. And then each one went off to his or her service for the day. For several months, Anne worked intensely on translating the Bhagavad Gita into Danish and took part in Hare Krishna festivals. She even organized a soiree at a fashion photographer's studio. On her guest list were friends from the modeling agency, members of the press, and acquaintances from Paris society. For the event, devotees prepared a banquet of exotic vegetarian dishes, and devotee musicians played songs on classical Indian instruments. The next day, articles started appearing in the press across Europe. Cover girl chooses Krishna. In 1974, Anne travelled to India with the Paris devotees for an annual pilgrimage. She visited Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna had performed his pastimes 5,000 years ago, and she saw Mayapur in West Bengal, the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who had inaugurated the congregational chanting of Hare Krishna as the most sublime method for reviving love for God in the present age. When she got back, Anne requested initiation. She is now Satrupa Devi Dasi, a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. At the initiation, she vowed to abandon all intoxicants, meat eating, gambling, and sex outside of marriage, and to chant 16 rounds of beads daily. She strictly follows these principles despite constant travel, for she has resumed modeling, but with a difference. Her purpose now is to help pay for the construction of a school for devotee children. She says, "To help build the school, I have to go where the work is and not be afraid of falling down into bad habits again. I try to remember my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who came alone to the West without any money or friends to spread love of Krishna, and that gives me inspiration." She further said, "Once I was modeling for $4 million worth of diamonds. The owners, the security guards, the studio people, everyone was worried and nervous that someone might try to steal them. I had to stay in my seat the whole time and not move about the studio while wearing the stones. The diamonds were very beautiful, but what a waste of money, and what a terrible position the people who like to wear them must be in, constantly in danger of being robbed and killed just for wearing such things." Later I was thinking, we may have such opulence in this life, but just like those diamonds I wore and then finally had to give them back. Everything that's given to us in this material world has to be given back when we leave. This is all temporary. I model Dior gowns, Saint Laurent originals, but everything I wear, I have to give it back. In this world, we are allowed to use Krishna's energy for a little while, like this body, but that too will grow old, and then we have to give it up. When modeling, Satrupa refuses furs, cigarettes, and alcohol. This limits her assignments, but opens a lot of discussions. She says, "People are curious about Krishna consciousness. All they know is what they read in the papers. But when you talk with them, they get very interested and start thinking about it seriously. I encourage others to just try chanting Hare Krishna. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. It doesn't cost anything, but it brings satisfaction, whether you're a success or a failure materially. Actually, material success is failure because it never brings satisfaction. It doesn't matter how much success you have if you don't have Krishna, she says. That's a fact. Without Krishna, just headaches. There's a young girl, Barbara, who travels with me. She is very pretty and wanted to become a model. So I have her meet all these models, eminently successful people, and afterwards she just shakes her head. She says, they are not happy. They are in total anxiety. She's beginning to realize that there's less to glamour than what most people think. If you become rich, you need dogs and locks. Become a model and spend your time worrying about being on next month's cover or waking up with a wrinkle. But become Krishna's devotee and your life becomes sublime. Keep chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and you will see all your anxieties fade away. You will feel a new kind of bliss and the joy to be with Krishna. Hare Krishna.